Hey, this is Toad from Country AF Radio. During the pandemic, I took that opportunity via Zoom, of course, to sit down with a bunch of artists and get to know them a little bit better, including this guy, Baylee Littrell. He came from acting to music, had a talk with his folks in Vegas. He's got a great tie to the Backstreet Boys. If you don't know, you will soon. We also talked a little bit about women in country. Let's do it. Let's get to know Baylee Littrell a little bit better. This is Toad's COVID Chronicles.
Please remain at least 6 feet away from your speakers at all times. This is Toad's COVID Chronicles.
How's the pandemic life there?
You know what? It's not too bad. We kind of live in a little, not super remote town, but just I don't think anybody has it in our area right now. So, I mean, we're good to go to the grocery store at least.
Right?
I think there it looks like a ghost town, right? Like zombies or something.
It is, walking along the strip or just seeing the strip. I have a lot of friends that have been riding their skateboards down Las Vegas Boulevard, have been riding their bikes, and normally you can't do anything like that because they'd kick you out in the traffic and everything like that. But it's, everything here is shut down. We are on.
That's crazy. It's crazy. This is Alex, by the way. Bailey.
How you doing, buddy? My name is Toad. I actually booked some of the talent at Stoney's Rockin' Country. Also have an online radio station that's also in-app called Country AF Radio.
Yeah.
We've been around almost 2 years now. Our goal is to make terrestrial radio not like us even more than they already don't like us.
Perfecto.
Yeah, I think you guys have a history of knowing what radio is all about in the radio world, because
oh wow, yeah.
Just a little. It's actually not that fun, that's for sure. We launched Country AF Radio out of a necessity because at Stoney's every Friday we have independent artists come through. Maybe not independent, that's not the word. Maybe new and upcoming artists come through, and we would ask the radio stations to help support, maybe play one of their singles, which we know that would never happen. Then we asked them to maybe interview the artist, get to know the artist, play a little bit of their song, and they told us no. So we kind of built a radio station. It's what I like to do, is program online, and we have a rad app. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it at all, but we play everything, everything from traditional country, pop country. We do radio takeovers. You did one of those. They're super fun, man. I mean, people get to know the artists a little bit better. Actually, yours is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, tomorrow. It's so cool because that's old school. Like you actually knew the artist that was playing, that you saw them talking, because like we don't do that anymore. You hear somebody on the radio, they're gone tomorrow, and you don't know anything about them. So yeah, we relate completely.
It's super fun. I always have this conversation with new artists, and I ask them what their thought process is on the Untitled #1, because that's what I call it. I don't think it's earned anymore. I think it's
perfect.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
that's awesome.
And I like the idea of longevity of a career. I think that when you give someone something so early and so I don't want to say not earned, because all you guys work your butts off, but the idea is I want to know these artists are going to be here in 10 years, and that just doesn't happen anymore. They come in, they get their shot at glory for a year, and then they disappear, and that's not what music's supposed to be about.
No.
True.
Yeah.
That's one thing is I honestly love what you're doing, because radio is so political. And so it's not, I wouldn't say it's completely rigged, but it's just set up to where, who they want in their top 10 and their top 20,
Sure.
Whatever it is, that's what it is. And you give an opportunity for artists to be heard, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys taking notice. I know that you're pretty new to what I know about you, but you do have a career with music, and I see that you've done some acting and everything like that. Obviously your parents are kind of a big deal when it comes to entertainment. So did you just want to be like them, or is this one of those things that did they ask you if you wanted to do it, or just something that you felt inside that you wanted to do?
Oh, this is honestly something completely natural. I grew up watching my dad do this, and I thought that, in the back of my mind, this was something I would want to do. And I didn't really know until about 3 years ago. So
right.
I came to my parents, and we had dinner one night, and we were out on the town, and I just told them, I'm like, hey guys, I know this sounds crazy, but I want to do music.
Right.
And we were in Vegas. We were in Vegas, yeah.
Mr.
His dad had a residency out there.
Right on.
So we were at Mr. Chow's in Vegas, and I told him, and I was, I built it up for like 3 or 4 days just to just to tell them, because I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna even say about this.
But
So
you also just came off Broadway.
yeah, I came off Broadway, and it was like a year and a half, 2 years later, and I honestly kind of took a break because, you know, it was an amazing job at musical theater. Is not really my thing. So as much as I loved it, I just kind of wanted to get away from it all. And you know, finally, by the time I came back into it, I told my parents, I'm like, this is something I really want to do.
Right.
And, yeah, they asked me details, and I said, well, I really want to do country, but you know, nobody's gonna accept it. You know, at the time I was like 15, so they, you know, I said no one's gonna accept a new kid trying to come in country, and my dad literally just said, why not?
Yeah, why not?
From doing what you want to do. And you know, both my parents tell me, if you know, what is it worth if you're not really doing what you want to do? So
well, you look at Nathan Ramsey. I mean, that kid, he did what he did. I don't know, I'm just gonna say that he was a young boy, and he came out and did country, but yeah. I don't know where he's at today, but
I heard he's living in Antarctica. That's the latest that I've heard.
Hey,
what up, dude?
What's up, man?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome, man. So why country? Like, I mean, I saw some of your influences online. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call you out on some shit because
yes, you're going to have to, because I already forgot my list in order. So
oh, where did I see it? But I saw that you had like some real old school stuff, and then you throw Florida Georgia Line in the mix, which is totally the opposite of what the other stuff that you had on there. Like, what's the first country song that you learned to play on guitar?
First country song I learned to play on guitar, honestly, was one of my own, I would say. Because I've been writing for a while, but the first like really country song that I learned all the way through and was proud of was probably "She's Everything" by Brad Paisley. That one,
yep.
And "Silver Wings," you know, some simple chords if you put a capo on it, and those two, I love playing those. But those are probably the first ones I really learned. I'm trying to think if I did anything else.
John Mayer.
I found it. It's Tim McGraw, George Strait, Johnny Cash, and then FGL. What?
Yes.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that George Strait and FGL aren't even in the same wheelhouse. So, I mean,
exactly.
You're across the spectrum with country, which is kind of cool. Do you listen to your dad's music and find influence in that?
I would say I definitely do. He's helped me in so many ways, especially in the studio, and kind of bringing some visions to life where we kind of look at each other like, you know what, we could make this a tiny bit Backstreet Boys-esque,
right?
But still country. So he's really helped me with that, and I will tell you that his music has influenced me quite a bit. I'm trying to think of my favorite song out of all of them. Still, just honestly, "Larger Than Life." That one just gets me completely pumped up.
Right.
There's an album, Never Gone. We call this like the undiscovered song. Is Siberia is a song on that record that we absolutely love.
Okay.
And that one's like super like pop rock. We love that. But yeah, the country, you know, like the country spectrum of my list is kind of all over the place. But I really started country, you know, wanting to do country music is because I grew up, you know, born and raised in Georgia.
Right.
I was born in Marietta, so small town. Yep, 770. That's one where my hat. So, you know, home is a big thing for us. We like to, you know, promote that, and I carry it with me everywhere.
That's good.
But I grew up with, you know, country music, especially with my grandparents, my mom's parents. I would go over there. Honestly, when I was little, I didn't have that many friends, so I would go over to my grandparents' house almost every weekend. Sometimes during summer, I would stay like 2 weeks straight. And they'd be taking me home. I'm like, no, I don't want to go home yet. So my grandpa would have to turn around and take me all the way back.
That's funny.
But he, you know, him and my grandma played, you know, Randy Travis, George Strait, Elvis Presley, you know, Tammy Wynette, Patsy Cline. So, I mean, I grew up on all the oldies. Ray Price was a huge one. I didn't even put him on my list. I love him. Marty Robbins. I mean, so I grew up with all the oldies.
Listened. You did.
Yeah. It influenced me to try to create that today. And then, you know, with modern country music, I thought, you know, during this movement, I might as well try to jump on it.
Sure. You can do anything in country today. And we get a lot of negative messages online saying that because we play everything from like the George Straits and Willie Nelsons and the Waylands of the world, all the way up to the brand new stuff, you know, and I'll even go into Texas country with Cody Johnson, Cody Jinks, and we play everything. And we get a lot of people that come online and bash us for the pop country side of stuff. And there used to be that T-shirt that used to always say "fuck pop country," and I always got the giggles out of it. I got the giggles out of it because, I mean, about 6 months ago, I believe Lizzo said something. She can't wait to the day that there is no more genre-based music, that everything's just music. And I believe that in country, there's probably 20 different genres of
yeah, pretty much. Because, you know, the board is so diverse now between all genres of music, and the barrier is kind of broken. But in country, we're still, you know, we have so many different types, but they're still divided. It's like we're this little section of like an ice cube tray. You know, and you've got all the different things, and we just can't seem to mesh together yet. But
you're either too country, or
you're either too country or too pop. And you know, I've heard all myself of, you know, either your song's too pop, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to give you a version with a banjo and a guitar, and they're like, nah, it's still too pop. You're like, excuse me, you know, like what else can I do? But honestly, at the end of the day, creating a more diverse, you know, country genre is going to help us all, because at the end of the day, we want to, you know.
I used to put together shows here in Vegas in the early 2000s, the House of Blues, with local bands, but I would never pick the same genre of music. I would take a pop artist, I would take a rock artist, I would take a punk, and then I would throw a country artist in there, because the benefit to it all is the country people would bring their fan base, the rock people bring their fan base, and now all of a sudden I got 1,000 kids in there going nuts over music that they'd never heard before. And that's kind of what I've put myself into today with Country AF Radio, is that idea of being able to bring the different genres of country. It's been fun to do the takeovers, because there's an artist by the name of Austin Burke.
Okay.
And, I was laughing because one of his songs, the first show he ever went to was an NSYNC show. And so I played Bye 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 on Country AF Radio. And let me tell you, the people that wrote me and gave me a piece of their mind. But I'm like, it's a takeover. And they're like, well, how could that be his influence? I'm like, it wasn't necessarily his influence. It's what made him want to be an artist, because that was the first show his dad ever took him to.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
people, you're like, what do you care? You know, like there's a reason he's doing music. Like, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you that, you know, probably one of the biggest influences that isn't country is John Mayer. I love some John Mayer. So he's inspired me to write a bunch of music. And because of him, I've written quite a few songs that I'm proud of. But that's and even he kind of dipped his toe into country folk type of album a couple years ago.
I mean, he's a guy that crosses over to everything, and he's played music with everybody, and that's got to be a goal of yours. I do have a fun question for you. So as a young guy coming into country versus women in country, who do you think has it harder? Because you were flat out said that, you know, a young guy coming into country, like, nobody's really doing it. Are they going to accept you? But you look at women in country, and they have the same difficulty. You're either huge woman in country, or you're not going to make it. I don't think there's that middle ground too much.
There's too, that is a pretty political field. I'll tell you somebody that's really emerged, and I think I definitely champion her, is Maren Morris. Love her music. She's definitely my favorite right now, you know, with this women in country movement. Her music is really just honestly kind of inspiring. Maddie and Tay are another great little duo. I love them.
Yep.
And those two are definitely some of my favorites. And then, you know, we've got the classics. But you know, it's a different world today, and it's anybody's shot to do what they want.
Right.
And, you know, more what it should be. There shouldn't be any discrimination when it comes to genre. But at the end of the day, it should be the best song wins.
I think so too. I'm an advocate of that. We have Russell Dickerson has played through Stoney's 7 times before his single Yours even hit radio, and we kind of blew him up in this market at our venue, and he sold out his last 2 shows that he had there before Yours was even on the radio, because that's the kind of stuff we like to do. So I tried to do that with a female artist by the name of Stephanie Quayle. Do you know who that is?
I do not.
Dude, you should check her out. She is she is new school, old school.
Okay.
She's funny. She's humble. She's played Stoney's a lot. We keep bringing her back because we love her as a person, and her camp is cool. The people that she surrounds herself with are awesome, and she's one of those women that I would love to see just explode, like a Maren Morris or like a Carrie Underwood for that level. Just because.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where you see someone like Maren Morris. Maren Morris, I don't think we could afford her at Stoney's. Maddie and Tay have played there twice. Not quite sure we could afford them anymore, but that's kind of what we go after is the artists as they, and hope that once they blow up, they remember where they played, before and come back and throw us a bone. I'm having a problem with this guy's hat over here. What the hell is this Miami Dolphins thing going on?
Family roots. It's family roots.
Hey, I'm just teasing you. Baylee, what's your favorite football team?
My favorite football team. Oh my God.
Let's go college and pro.
Okay, college and pro.
Yeah.
This is so hard because people at home are gonna hate me for this, but Falcons are my team right now. I mean, no matter, even if we have the worst uniforms in existence,
Right.
horrible. I still got to be loyal to the Falcons. Probably, even though, I mean, they bring my blood pressure up quite a bit, but I can deal. College, it was always my dream to go to the University of Florida, so I do
Gators.
follow quite a bit. Yeah,
I like them. I'm a Nebraska fan myself, and I'm in a downtime for the last 8 years. Our team has been horrible. But I watch the Eagles. I'm an Eagles fan when I watch pro football. But
okay.
yeah,
so you were happy. You were happy 2 years ago when
I was. And you know what? The owner of Stoney's, we had a bet because he's a the hell did they play? Really? The Patriots. He's a Patriots fan. So we bet sushi, 5 sushi dinners on the deal. And I won. And what's funny is every time I collected my sushi, I would invite 4 or 5 of my friends, and he would look at me and go, dude, why are you inviting all these people? I'm like, well, that wasn't in the deal of how many people I could bring or anything like that. I took advantage.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. I took advantage of the win, man. So it was kind of cool. I don't know if we'll have another team like that for a while. I think Tampa Bay is probably going to be the team to beat next year, but
I'm seriously super excited to see Tom in Tampa Bay.
yeah.
I loved him his whole career as a Patriot. He's been my favorite. Him and were my two. But to see Gronk come back now and play for Tampa Bay, and
Right.
they're going to be unstoppable. And everybody was trash talking me. They're like, dude, Kansas City's going to win it again. It's going to be Tampa, Kansas City, the Super Bowl, and you're going to owe me $20. And I'm like, no, I'm not, because they just got Gronk, so you can pay me double.
Right. Of course.
Happy.
I wonder if they're going to change their name to the Tampa Bay Patriots or not.
I think they need to. I think it's time.
Are you
see that logo of the Patriots, and they put the little Buccaneers skull?
Oh no, I didn't. I will definitely go find that. Are you a Raiders fan?
Raiders fan, yes. Since they came to Vegas, I was definitely excited.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with that. I really am. I was kind of hoping that we would have got the Rams or the Chargers instead of the Raiders myself, just for the city. But it'll be interesting,
Because I mean, Oakland, the Raiders are special to them, but I think that Vegas can keep the tradition going. And I mean, everybody out there, if you see them with, the Las Vegas Knights, when it comes to hockey, they're super passionate about sports.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think they're going to appreciate this. Is going to make the city boom even more than it already is right now. So
I know, and we're supposed to be getting we have a pro soccer team that's supposed to be here. They're in the works of doing a pro basketball team, and we have a AAA baseball thing here. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. So
I would, oh my gosh, bringing the NBA to Vegas would be insane.
The Supersonics. Vegas Supersonics.
Dude, Dad's saying the Vegas Supersonics. I need to bring back
a little insight to that. The people that own Stoney's, they own a piece of property on the Strip over on Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard. And for the last few years, they've been doing a deal with a guy by the name of Jackie Robinson. I'm sure we all know who that is. And he's trying to bring the NBA here. I guess he's already got approval from the NBA, but he's just waiting on the financing and all that kind of stuff. But that's a piece of property that the people that own Stoney's own. So we're kind of hoping that happens, because we'll get a shoe into a suite and being able to go to the games and stuff like that. It's kind
that would be amazing.
That would be sweet.
That would be sweet.
That would be. Have you ever played in Vegas before?
No, I have not. I've never.
You have not. Well, we'll have to fix that. We'll have to get you out to Stoney's. That'll be fun.
I'd love to.
What's your favorite thing to do when you come to Vegas?
My favorite thing to do when I come to Vegas. Oh my God.
It can't be drinking or gambling, because your parents are right there. So pick some other ones.
Okay. All right. So, oh my God. I do have to say, there's a place we like to go to every time we're in Vegas. It's called Michael's. It is technically it's right on the Vegas-Henderson line, but it's this casino. I'm trying to think.
In South Point.
South Point.
Yeah.
And we go to Michael's in South Point. We love we love Michael's.
So funny thing about that restaurant is right next door to it is the Coronado Cafe, which is the South Point's cafe. They have the best Chinese food in town.
And they've got a great Mexican restaurant upstairs in South Point. Their food is freaking amazing.
You bowled there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we go there a lot. We bowl there. We play craps there, and we go there for Chinese like once a month because like even though we have Chinatown on like Spring Mountain, that place is still consistent and it's the best, man. It's super.
I will tell you, when we went to Las Vegas Motor Speedway,
That was cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know I loved NASCAR that much until I went. Wow,
Yeah.
that was so much fun.
Were you down in the middle, like in the center section? Or were you up in the stands, or?
Yeah, we were up in the stands, but oh my God, you know, I had that little like headset on. I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I was so excited. Cars are going around the track, and I was so tiny, I was like rattling.
That's funny. Yeah, it's pretty weird experience when NASCAR comes to town because the town, like from the strip, they run the cars and the trucks up and down the strip, and then it just turns into an event. And they come here twice a year now, so they do flip the town upside down for sure. Have you been binge watching any TV shows during this whole?
Oh yeah, a lot.
What have been your favorites?
So the two recent, I will say, I didn't want to jump on the Ozark bandwagon, but I did.
It's good.
And we're freaking addicted.
Right.
We literally started it like 2 days ago, and we're already we've got 2 episodes left until season 3 is over. So we've gone through that one completely. We watched Bloodline for a while.
Haven't seen it.
And that one's pretty good. And then it just kind of gets like weird at the end. And I couldn't even, Mom and Dad watched it without me because I was camping one night.
Right.
And I came back. You guys finished it without me? And they're like, yep. And I'm like, great, we're starting something else.
Yeah.
So I tried to watch it on my own. I couldn't get into it.
Morning show.
Yeah, the morning show is really great. And we watched one more. Kaminsky Method.
Did you watch Outer Banks yet?
Not
I
yet.
haven't
We're
yet.
gonna start that one.
You should watch Outer Banks. It's pretty good. And we Ozarks, the last 2 episodes the last one's epic because I didn't see that coming.
Oh,
God.
I'm so
It's
excited.
good. We're watching Money Heist right now. Is the one that we're watching. And it's based, I believe, in Spain. So it's not in English, but they dubbed it over with English dub. So the mouth is like where they go, Fred. So you get a little bit of that, which is kind of cool. But it's actually a really good show. We watched the first 13 episodes, which is 13 hours. We watched it in 2 days, and then last night we watched 2 more episodes. But that one's actually got me kind of. I'm enjoying that one.
Oh man, yeah. I also went through, the basics like The Office like 2 times over because I was bored, and Parks and Rec a couple times. I mean, it's just the cycle of those 2, and you're like, all right, now I need to watch something scandalous.
Did you watch Tiger King?
I did not. I still won't jump on that bandwagon yet.
I waited 2 weeks into the quarantine, and I watched all the hype, and then I watched it. So our busiest night at Stoney's is Thursday night. It's ladies' night. There's about 1,100 people that come in here, and I would tell you that's about 65 to 70% women. So single guys are dumb for not showing up. But what I do say is that Tiger King is a typical Thursday night at Stoney's. I mean, it's just filled with drama and crap and
The police are there single night by the time the party's over.
Cat fights.
Yeah, cat fights, exactly. Big cats, big cat fights.
Big cats. And not Kentucky Water Cats.
No, yes, not the liquor or anything like that. It's just straight, yeah. But I mean, Tiger King's one of those things you just look at and you're like, dude, like seriously, like this can't be real life. It just.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't watch it again. I mean,
Yeah, my cousin Avery literally called me last night. She's like, have you watched Tiger King yet? I'm like, no. She's like, I swear to God, if you don't watch it, I'm like, you've got like 10 cats. Of course you want to watch it.
right? Yeah.
You're like the feline queen, but like I can't do it.
I watched
Not
it
ready.
the memes.
Yeah. Oh,
Just to understand the memes.
Carol Baskin. That's the
Yeah,
only thing.
exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty fun, dude. What are you gonna play for us today?
Okay, so we got 2 songs.
Cool.
Both from 770 Country.
There you go.
Not promoting or anything. So we've got Some Guys, which is track 1 on my record.
Okay.
I love that one. You're going to be hearing a lot more of that one soon. And Boxes.
615.
Boxes 615, that edition. The band on guitars.
We play Boxes on Country AF Radio and have for probably 3 or 4 weeks now, I believe. I think the minute it dropped, we picked it up, and it's been kind of fun, and people like it. And within our app, there's a thumbs up and a thumbs down. I can tell you how many people listen to it, how many times we've played it, everything like that. So
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna go back to my favorite thing about what we do with the radio station is that I can tell you how many people are listening. I can tell you how many people liked your song. I can tell you how many people actually heard your song played on what day, at what time, and where they're at. And terrestrial radio can't do that. And
Right.
that's my favorite thing. Like if you go onto your Spotify, you can learn so much about the consumer on your end. I can do the same thing. And that's my favorite part is I know they don't know. And that's when it goes back to the top 10 of political. I've been kind of close to doing a Toad's top 10 and running it for like a month. I think that's something that we're going to dive into here in the next couple weeks. If we get pushed out to June, I think I'll come up with that, do it as a monthly thing, and not do the big artists of the world, keep them all out of it, you know, and, you know, I'll stick to mid-range and lower because I'm not going to compete with the Bobby Bones or, you know, or anything like that. I just, our top 10 is going to be a little bit different and open the door for a lot of people's and music that we believe in and love. And I wouldn't play boxes if I didn't like it. So just know that too.
Well,
Do you have both versions?
I don't think so. I think we play just one version. I don't know what your 615 version is, but I'll take it.
Well, we 615, we went in because the radio stations were saying the boxes was too pop. So we just went in and did a new vocal and arrangement, and it's like, it's nice and country. If you go, I can send it to you. It's a great version as well. That's actually the version we have with the music video, and CMT's like got him on the 12 pack. So he was number 6 on CMT last week.
Yeah.
I like
it.
So
it's good.
Congrats.
So we didn't want him to say no, so we gave him both. 615, which is Nashville's version, and Georgia's version.
We're like, if you don't like this one, here's another.
Yeah, if you don't like that one.
That's what I wanted to say first.
Well, let's hear it. Go ahead.
All right. So you want to do boxes first or some guys? All right. So I'm going to kick you off with Some Guys. Absolutely love this one.
Cool.
Some guys can't even seem to get the wrong way. Chasing a dream for a long time, spinning wheels, set in their ways. Yeah, some dudes just gonna do what they gonna do. Never they want, cause they want to. Say they keep it real, just the way they were raised. Some guys fake time, some guys they never change. Till some sweet shows him God's amazing grace. She'll save this stubborn, rough around the edges world. I know it first, 'cause I got one. Yeah, some guys just need a girl. Sometimes I can't even remember being that guy. 'Cause when she walked in, it was the last time I'll be fooling around. Some guys still fly Friday solo, trying to bring somebody home. They're gone before he wakes up. So one day when he wakes up, some guys take some guys they never change. Till some sweet angel shows him God's amazing grace. She'll save this stubborn, rough around the edges world. I know it first, 'cause I got one. Yeah, some guys just need a girl. Yeah, some guys just need a girl. Some guys they some guys they never change. And ever since she showed up, I ain't ever been the same. She'll save this stubborn, rough around the edges world. I know it first, 'cause I got one. Yeah, some guys just need a girl. Yes, Some guys just need a girl.
Dope. When are you gonna release that? Or have you already?
What?
Sorry, you skipped up. You said what?
I said, when are you gonna release that, or have you already?
Not yet.
Not yet, but coming in the future, very soon.
Yeah. You tell your mom to send that one to me too. She's got my email. Put message on.
I got you.
Dude. Yeah, I'll definitely send it over to you.
Please do. Right on. Let's hear Boxes. I like this tune.
All right, thank you. We're gonna tune up really fast.
Cool.
Me, 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 me.
You need to tune the voice up too. Yeah, I was like, what's wrong? Yeah.
Who wrote Boxes?
I know there's multiple writers on that song, but one of my greatest friends, Stephen Lee Olson, was one of the writers on that one. Daniel Ross. Oh my God, I forgot Daniel's on that too.
And Alex.
I'm trying to remember her name.
Young writer. Lady.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember her name. I met her we met her once, but we never even introduced each
She was
other.
like, I wrote Boxes.
Yeah.
And she was really smart to this party. And
Yeah.
then I was like, hey.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
yeah,
You know,
but
I'm wearing a hat by, I think, CJ Solar.
yeah.
You know the song by Morgan Wallen, Up Down?
Yes.
He's one of the writers of it. CJ is. So
That's awesome.
we had a show at Stoney's, and the owner double booked the night and booked Morgan Wallen and CJ Solar. And so CJ was opening for Morgan, but those two had never met. The first time they ever met was at Stoney's. Was kind of a cool thing. Yeah.
We love Morgan.
Yeah.
We love Morgan.
Morgan's awesome.
Morgan's been there to Stoney's 3 times. I clearly cannot afford that guy anymore to come through. Because he actually played last year. He played our ACMs, and no, he didn't. Hardy played our ACMs, and Morgan Wallen showed up and came up on stage and sang with him. And then John Langston played, and what the hell is his name? Cole Swindell showed up and sang with him.
Oh my God.
That's what happens at Stoney's during ACM. Russell's played 2 years prior to that, and Thomas Rhett came out both nights and hung out and kind of it's a neat environment. But we like doing stuff like that. I think it's funny that you forgot the girl's name.
I'm like, who is that?
Wow.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, Morgan I love that guy. I've yet to meet Hardy, but I totally want to meet him eventually. But Devin Dawson.
I sat down with him in an interview at Stoney's, and I asked him what he would be doing if he wasn't doing music. And his answer was he loves to mow lawns.
Well, I've been mowing lawns.
I told him, I said, let's go. I got 2,400 square foot of grass in my backyard. He goes, you have a lawnmower? I said, I don't, but I will buy one on the way home just to see Hardy mow my lawn. Absolutely will. Absolutely.
Prove to me that you can mow my lawn.
But I thought that was pretty crazy that dude's written some stuff. And have you listened to the Hicks Tape Volume 1, his album?
Yes, I have.
The whole thing. I think there's 2 songs on there that I'm like, they're okay. Everything else on there, I'm just like, dude, this is.
I love My Kind of Living. That one is my favorite. He's got Hunter Phelps on that one, and there's one more dude. I'm trying to think of his name. Oh my God, I don't remember his name. He's another guy on there too, but it's yeah.
I think that I'm looking it up real quick here. There it is, Hicks Tape Volume 1. Hunter Phelps, Jameson Rogers.
That's what it is. Okay. That song, like if I'm ever away from home, that's the one I just, put in my earbuds because I'm like, oh my God, I miss home.
Jameson Rogers was just at Stoney's, not to play. He popped by. Do you know who Austin Jenks is?
Yes.
So Austin Jenks is one of probably my favorite artists that I've ever come across because he's the humblest dude. His music, the reason about his music, where it comes from, he's always stayed the same. He's just a But when he came and played, Jameson Rogers was in town and just came and hung out, was there for a bachelor party, just came to town and hung out. And that's what I love the most about this genre of music. I'm sure your dad will attest to this, that back when he was doing what he was doing, it was about cutthroat business. It really was. And today, you've got guys, I mean, if you look at the Hicks Tape Volume 1 website, Cole Swindell, Morgan Wallen, Devin Dawson, Lauren Elena, John Langston, all these people on here, they all support each other. My throat's going. They also totally support. And I think that I always say that my favorite thing is when an artist releases a single, you don't have to ask your country music friends to help you out with that and post it, repost it, and share it. It just happens. And that never in any other genre. Show me one where that's happened consistently. It doesn't exist.
No.
Yeah, it's just like, you know,
doesn't happen in Christian music.
That's what we love about
Not even in
when I
Christian
saw
music.
that album, it's, you know, his mixtape album, it's that compilation, you know, and you think like, God, I wonder what Ed Sheeran had to do to get everybody on his record when he did his compilation.
Right.
Now,
Or even
you know,
when you listen to that song Blow, like one where those guys all get together and sing, you know, Ed Sheeran, Chris Stapleton and all that. I like Boy from the South. I like One Beer. I think that song is awesome. No Place Like Hometown is rad. But I mean, I just go back to just, well, that He Went to Jared's kind of a funny song, but you know.
I was that was right. You went to home, yes, I went to work. I love that one.
Yeah, that's a great tune. It's super
But
fun.
overall favorite Hardy song, have you heard Sign Sober You? I'm guessing you have.
Absolutely, yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Woo!
He's
That one.
you know, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you a funny story. I was in Nashville, and CJ was playing at the Wild Horse, and we just popped in to go see him, and he did his version of Up Down.
Yeah.
Hated it. So I used to ask this question. I used to ask this question when you're sitting in a writer's room and you got 3 or 4 guys in there writing, and you're writing for each other per se, who gets to pick the song? Like, how does that process work? And CJ would tell me that you just know some songs are for you, some songs aren't. And then when he sang Up Down, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That song's not for you.
That song's for Morgan. That's how I first heard Morgan, was Up Down. And I remember like it kind of got mixed reviews, Up Down did, and I just remember I was playing and I hear Up Down. Everyone's like, what do you listen to? I'm like, this is Morgan Wallen. How do you not know these guys? Then Whiskey Glasses, you know, blows up, and that song was, oh my God, it'd been out like what, a year or two, and then, you know, it finally hit, and that blew my mind when that happened.
Tell me you also love Trey Landon. You opened up
Trey Landon. You know, I love that.
I had Trey Landon out for, we used to do a singer-songwriter thing where we tried, and we'd bring out 2 singer-songwriters earlier in the night when we had live music. Like on a Friday, we'd do it at like 7 o'clock. But Vegas is there's too much going on here. It's too hard to really get people to focus on a writer because they don't give a shit. They only care about what they've heard on the radio. They don't care about CJ. They care about Morgan Wallen, that sort of thing. So we had Trey Landon out, and he came out and did his singer-songwriter thing. It was pretty dope, but they didn't take to it. But his new single that we play, I forget the name of it, but I know that we're playing it some. That's it. Yeah, the Dirt Road.
Dirt Road Dancing, and I think he just released Wrong Truck is another one.
She's in the wrong truck. Yeah.
But my favorite one by far is Feeling Good Feels Like.
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
God.
I love that one.
Feeling Good Feels Like.
It's like old country.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that.
That's awesome.
You gotta listen to that one.
I will go chase that one down too. We just added that Dirt Road Dancing like 2 weeks ago to the station, and it's a good tune, man. It's a super good tune. He's just a good guy all the way around.
He is. He's awesome. He's super down to earth, and he's just you know, like I opened up for him. At Eddie's Attic. I opened up for him, and this was a year ago now, I think.
Yeah, and then you did your showcase there. We'll probably do a live album there.
Yeah, we're thinking about doing something like that. But he would tell stories, and
he came back and played ping pong with us. Can you please tell him
about
it?
The M&M's in a mason jar?
Yeah.
So Trey came back here to the house after we played, and everybody at that point, except me, because, you know, I cannot drink, had one too many. And Trey's sitting there at the kitchen counter, and we've got all these mason jars filled with, like, M&M's.
Right.
And Trey puts his arm around me, and he looks at the counter, and he goes, is that M&M's in a mason jar? And I said, yes, it is. He goes, can I have one? And I go, yeah, do you want the peanut ones or do you want the caramel ones? He goes, I don't care, I'm drunk. So then I slide him over the caramel M&Ms and he goes, nah, that's not as good as the peanut one. So then we kept switching out the M&Ms. But that dude, he's hilarious. We had a ping pong tournament. He
was talking smack and he lost. He only scored like 6
It
points.
was so funny. He's like, next time, it's happening again.
Before I'm drunk.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
We should do a big ping pong tournament in Vegas if we could get everybody out. Like next
Let's
8
do
weeks.
it. Yeah, let's do it.
That'd be hilarious.
Hey, can I play?
I'll think about it, man. I'll think
Come
about
on, man. Come on, man.
He's Forrest Gump.
He's let the cat his time, dude. Let the kid have it.
Man, Dad.
I gotta come out of retirement. I'm like Tom Brady, baby. I gotta come out of retirement.
When was their last thing in Vegas? Their last residence? Just
That
recently.
It was the beginning of last year, actually.
Yeah.
Beginning of last year.
You guys gonna do it again?
Heck yeah, man. We're gonna sign a long-term deal after this tour is over with. We're coming back to Vegas.
You should. And then come to Stonies. You gotta come hang out, man.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, I want to come see my son play. Let's do it.
Don't-
Let's do it.
You can afford him.
Yeah, you can afford him right now.
I'll
Hey.
be able to afford them.
This is one thing, is no matter whatever happens, is people forget where they came from. And that's easy to forget. And it happens to too many. So one day, if I get the opportunity to make it to where I want to, I never forget where I come from. So you can have me back as many times as you want.
I just had this conversation day before yesterday, and we've had artists that have come through that have blown up, that have been humble and still talk and still. So I'll go back and tell you a quick story. Luke Combs came through. You're gonna laugh at this. Guess how much I paid him to play at Stonies?
How much?
$500.
Oh my God.
Okay.
500, and he opened for Corey Smith. It was the weirdest thing ever. But there was a little bit of an issue from the tour managers. They just didn't get along for some reason. So they had whatever beef that they had. But my attitude is, I don't care if you think you're big or you're not big. You're still human. You still put your pants on like I do. So I treat everybody with the same whatever. So we'll go 2 years later, Route 91. Luke played. I see him in the back with his manager, and he walks up and he goes, "Toad, what's up, man?" And I was like, "Dude, what's going on?" Like, so he remembers, which is rad. I don't ask anything from anybody when it comes to that. But his manager came up to me. Now, by now they've traveled the world, and his manager's name is Cappy. He looks at me, he goes, "Toad, to this day, the best hospitality we've ever had is at Stonies." And it was it's all because of what happened between the two tour managers. It was really bad. Like, it was ego. And so I look at stuff like that with Luke, and I'm like, dude, that is the raddest thing ever. I've had some artists that have come through that we've championed that forgot where they came from. And it's a bummer, because you sit back and go, man, I was talking to you when you were nobody, and I was booking you when you were nobody, and now you're somebody you don't even know who I am. You don't even
I knew the better version of you, like what happened.
Dude,
you know?
If I was a songwriter, I would write a song called "Better Version of You." I'm surprised. Surprised if it's not already out there. But don't steal it if you do. I just want like
Too bad. It's already noted down.
Too bad. Already wrote it.
What do they call them? Got my person with a little typewriter in the back.
That's okay. I got video proof of that was mine.
He'll give you a third of it.
I'll give you a third. Just a tiny little part of the pie.
It's gonna be so big. I'll take the 2%. That way, I get my mailbox money, and I can just.
That's what my grandpa says. He's like, now listen, you know that I'm truly your manager. He told me this in the little. He's like, and I get my 2%. I'm like, Papa, if I ever make it, I'm like, you'll get a little bit more than 2%. But he's like, nope, just want my 2%. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. I think the neatest part is your grandpa can probably tell you some pretty cool stories about what he's lived through. But think about when you're a grandpa, the stories you're going to be able to tell people what you lived through from the world stuff. I was just having this conversation about our era is crazy. I mean, the tragedies we've lived through and the stuff that's happened.
It's honestly a messed up world, and it's crazy kind of how everything's turned out. And this year, I know nobody really expected this to happen, but at the end of the day, as tragic as it is, it's all a blessing at the same time that our world kind of gets to rest. We get to take a break. We spend time with our loved ones. We learn what true appreciation for one another is.
Right.
And that's one thing is, a bunch of kids are like, oh, I'm stuck in the house with my parents. And I'm like, I'm best friends with my parents. And so when we get to spend more time with each other, yeah, we might get a little annoyed with each other from time to time. I'm not the one to take my bowl up to the sink and wash it out. I'm being like, hey, where did that bowl of Cheerios go? But at the end of the day, we're closer than ever. We're bonding. We've got all the time in the world to keep that going. So.
We said Humble lives here.
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of babies being born, or a lot of divorces.
Either one. But I'm gonna be, when I'm grandpa, I'm gonna be like, there was this thing called Zoom and FaceTime, and there was this thing called the XFL. Coronavirus happened. Yep, got that. Maybe. I don't know if I did.
Dude, I just saw something the other day that I got the giggles out of. You won't appreciate this, but your parents will. But if you think about how the Brady Bunch started,
oh my gosh,
the show with all the pictures.
That's
they
what it is now.
They were so ahead of their time, man. They knew what was
I think we're about to become the Brady Bunch in the house eventually. It's gonna just keep growing. The community's gonna move in.
I know everybody's going to quarantine over here.
Yeah.
All right. You want a song? You want a boxes?
Let's check off some boxes.
Let's do it.
Give a little announcement if you can.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is Boxes. Sponsored by FedEx. Like cooking in a t-shirt, looking like risky business on a Sunday. Love hanging with me, baby, but you cool with me going and doing my own thing. Love the way that you love my mama. Wanted less, what you want, they wanna settle down, have a few. Got enough right now, kind of attitude. You check all my boxes, 22, you got it. Going down my list, I'll be sure what I wanted. Take me out the game, check please. Baby, you were made for me. What else can I say? Yeah, girl, you're flawless. You check all my boxes. Yeah. Ain't afraid to say what you mean what you say when you say it. Damn proud of my daddy's name. Can't wait for the day that you take your adventurous, crazy self. Look at the smile, ain't hard to tell that you check my boxes. 22, you got it. Going down my list. I'll be sure what I wanted. Take me out the game. Check, please. Baby, you were made for me. What else can I say? Yeah, girl, you're flawless. You checked all my boxes. Yeah. Love the way that you love my mama. Like cooking in a t-shirt, looking like risky business on a Sunday. You check my boxes, 22, you got it. Going down my list, I'll be sure what I wanted. Take me out the game, check please. Baby, you were made for me. What else can I say? Yeah, girl, you're flawless. You checked all my boxes, yeah. You checked all my boxes, yeah.
Dude, that's rad. I need that. Version.
Thank you, dude.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, you gotta listen to. We'll send you the 615. That one is like kind of a broken down version. I love it.
I like it. Looking forward to it. What's the first thing you're gonna do when the quarantine's over? Like, what are you looking forward to getting back to normal first? Is it going to getting Chick-fil-A? Is it pizza? Is it hanging out with your friends? Is it recording some music, getting on the road?
I'm definitely gonna say recording some music.
Yeah.
Although I can just run over to this guy's basement and record music. But definitely that. I'm honestly getting really just amped to get back on the road. I'm ready. Getting super eager to just go out and play some shows, and definitely honestly miss touring. And sometimes when it's a big, huge tour, you're like, all right, I'm glad to be home. But now I'm like, get me back out there. Let me be tired. Get me up at 6 a.m. Like, I don't care.
I don't think you'll ever say that again where you're tired. Yeah.
I'm telling you, once like society's going to be like, I miss quarantine so much. And I'm like, you were the one complaining about it. I'm just saying.
I think it's going to be kind of weird that all these people that are getting to work from home when they have to go back to the office, how that's going to affect things. It's going to be kind of
Yeah. So you're like, what is this?
Right.
I didn't sign up for this. You're like, you signed up for your entire life.
Yeah. Can you just keep sending me that check and I'll stay at home and work, so it's kind of
I like that better,
Yeah. If you could put together a tour, let's just take like 4 other artists, including yourself, like who would you want to go on the road with and who would you want to bring with you?
Oh my God. Okay, so these two are kind of related, but I would love to bring Midland on the road with me. God, I would just love to tour them.
Wait a minute. You better wait till you're 21 to do that.
Yeah, it would be like Baylee Littrell ends up missing.
Right.
Dude, I'm going to interject real quick. Their first time playing at Stoney's, they drank tequila and they drank the añejo that we had all out, and then they started drinking 1942, which is
God.
very expensive. And
Yes.
so we sent them an offer just before all this COVID stuff went down and we got quarantined. But part of the offer was they had their money side, but we also threw in a case of 1942.
Nice.
Creative.
Yeah, we're coming.
Yeah. All right. So you got Midland.
I got Midland. I would say Tim McGraw.
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty freaking amazing. You said 3 artists I could tour with, or 4?
4,
Okay.
including yourself.
Okay, then I'm gonna put Morgan Wallen in there.
Wow.
So, and then I guess myself. That would be a huge, epic. Wait, I want to add one more.
Do it.
FGL. Then you've got your explosion of a concert that none of us could even afford to be at. Including the artists.
I don't know who's writing that check, but but you left out something. You left out the female artist. Is it going to be Maren Morris?
Oh my God.
What's the song?
Well, I don't know. Now you're gonna make me think about this.
Yeah.
Um,
And who's going to headline that?
I would have to say, as much as I love Maren Morris, you might want to put. I mean, I've got a duo in there already. So what if you put Maddie and Tay in there, and then you had FGL, and then you had, and then there's just this little guy named Baylee Littrell, and then Morgan Wallen. I think it'd be great. I could hide in between all of them and just kind of be right back.
That'd be one wild show for sure.
It would be.
I think we'll have to work on that, right?
I think we're gonna need like all matching pink jumpsuits, running through fire, flying in like Millennium, from the top of the arena.
It's gonna have to happen in Vegas then. That's just what we do here. That sort of
Exactly.
thing. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Let's do it.
I think your dad's not gonna play. His band's not gonna get back together to play.
But the mayor.
Oh,
What about
We never
Post
stop.
Malone?
I'm there.
We're like a bunch of dinosaurs, man. We never stop, man. We never stop. We got to keep going. If you had played "I Want It That Way" instead of "Bye Bye Bye," you would have got a better response.
It wasn't my choice. That was it. It was an artist. It wasn't me. That wasn't me. That's for sure.
It's all good.
I think I'm gonna do some voting on our Country AF social, and I'm just gonna have some fun. I'm gonna put NSYNC up next to the Backstreet Boys and see who wins.
Go for it. Go for it. Yeah, they can just cry me a river.
I do have a fun question for you. Are you a Justin Bieber fan?
Me or
Yeah.
you? Yes.
Not bad. Yes.
I'm a honestly diehard Justin Bieber fan on this one.
So his new album.
Yes.
My friends they dislike me for that because I listened to it when it came out, and I love his story. I love where he came from. This new album I think is pretty rad, knowing what he went through on his personal level. With having a disease and getting married and being in the spotlight at such a young age. And then every time he comes on one of the TV shows, I'll see it somewhere and I'll just DVR it. I'll go watch it later. And I mean, Yum Yum, whatever that song is. That one's kind of a little bit weird, but you know,
Yeah,
yummy yum, whatever. But I can listen to all the other ones and I get into it. I just, you know,
yeah.
I was really curious if you cross over to that world. I mean, because I see him with what he's got 10,000 hours out with Dan and Shay, which I get the giggles about is what Dan and Shay just crossed over to pop just before that. And all the people like my girlfriend's kid is like, she knows Dan and Shay, but all of her friends are like, have you ever heard of Dan and Shay? Like they're pop. And we're like,
Yeah.
they've been around for years as country. Like, what the heck are you talking about? Not even close. But
Yeah.
I was curious if you follow his journey as well.
Oh, totally. He was probably one of my earliest inspirations when I was, growing up. Like I remember I watched his documentary, his first one he ever came out with.
Which one?
Was it called Believe or something?
Oh, no, I don't.
No, that's the one that just came out.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was the one, the very first one.
Yeah. I don't even remember what it was called, but that one came out like probably 2010.
Yeah, I was trying to make you do a mashup between.
So it was about like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Mom downloaded that on my little iPad, and I watched that, and I was like, "Who is this man?" And so then,
I think he was a boy.
Yes, he was his boy. He was his child. But to see him honestly grow in his career and be at this point now, it's crazy to see it from growing up being a fan of him, going from him being 15 years old to now, in his mid 20s, married, and I mean, one of the most accomplished artists in today's world. Like, I think I'm really glad he did something with Dan and Shay. I thought that was amazing, honestly, for country. And I know that song has its views on, radio. Some people like it, some people don't, but you got to play with the people love, and they definitely won radio over with that one.
Absolutely. I mean, it crossed over huge in a sense. I would say that Justin Bieber's fan base just turned into a Dan and Shay fan base, and maybe a little bit of vice versa. I mean, I think that Bieber in a country world is maybe like the Nickelback of rock, where you might like him, but you can't tell people you like them.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I feel like
Shay
Dan and Shay too. I think they are probably the smartest duo in country. Some of the smartest artists in country to do what they're doing. That their last self-entitled, Dan and Shay album that came out 2 years ago, that was all done in their house. They created that together, and the two of them make this amazing team. But then when you take advantage of this country pop movement, they bring it to a whole nother level. Yeah. They've thrown in so many different, honestly, kind of like interests for people, because you're thinking, oh, you don't like tequila? Well, how about you listen to What Keeps You Up at Night? You're gonna like that one. So then, like, while we're on top, why don't we just throw Justin in the mix? And it was amazing,
It's true, man. I love watching. He was on Saturday Night Live and he did Intentions, and I just watched it. And at first, I'm like watching him do this live thing of Intentions. I'm like, dude, what is he doing? Just wearing these sweaty outfit thing. And all of a sudden, he just came in, and I love his stage presence. Which I did go. Your dad will appreciate this. My mom wanted to see Justin Timberlake more than anything in the world. Do you know who Claire Dunn is?
I don't.
She's country. She's female. Lindsay L. You know who Lindsay L. is?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so Lindsay L. is an amazing guitar player. Then you take Claire Dunn, who's a little bit older, who's also an amazing guitar player. Claire Dunn was playing at Stoney's that night. My mom wanted to go see Justin Timberlake, so I bit the bullet and I took my mom to go see Timberlake, and I wasn't a fan. I just was not a fan. It was like the weirdest thing in the world, because he sang just about every song he had, but he only sang a verse into a chorus and then went to the next one. So I never really got to appreciate the whole song.
Yeah, it's like a mashup of
Yeah, which was super weird to me. I didn't, as a music fan, I didn't appreciate that. And all I kept saying to my mom was, "I'm glad you're happy, Mom, that you got to see your Justin Timberlake, but now I got to bring back Claire Dunn, because I didn't get to see her at Stoney's, and that's all I really wanted." And Claire Dunn is, I mean, she's a country star that nobody really, I don't say nobody, but people really don't know a lot about her. And that's where I enjoy music. I start to lose my interest in music after an artist isn't as raw and doesn't make mistakes and loses their hunger. That's why I love college football so much, because these kids are still trying.
Yeah, that's their career on the line. They're working as hard as.
Yeah. I mean, and I can tell you there was a difference between Morgan Wallen the first time he came to Stoney's and the second time he came to Stoney's, because Up Down was big, and then Whiskey Glasses blew up his second time. And now with Chasing You, there's no way in hell I can afford him, just because.
Yeah.
He went from flying in to bringing in a bus. Let's just tell you that in a matter of like. Dude, thank you for the time today. Tell people how to find you online.
All right, I will. So if y'all look me up on Instagram, that is Baylee Littrell _music, if I'm correct. I don't even know my own Instagram handle. I got my Twitter, which is just Baylee Littrell. Spotify is Baylee Littrell.
You're on Facebook.
Facebook is, yeah.
And BayleeLittrell.com.
Yeah, they should all be there. Yeah, BayleeLittrell.com. So you can find all the resources you need.
Right. What's your MySpace?
You said my wife?
I said, what's your MySpace?
He said, what?
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea.
I swear.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Toad.
dude, thank you so
We
much.
appreciate it.
Thank you guys. I look forward to having you out at Stoney's. Mom, send me some music. Dad, I'll see you when your son plays in Vegas. You guys stay safe, all right?